Hey, everybody. I just wanted to stop on for a quick stream. I got a couple of golden nuggets that I found last night while I was editing some other stuff. So, hi, that was quick. Someone just popped in. So, anyways, oh my gosh, I wanted to come back on last night. But I got to editing something that's been sitting in my folder for a little while now, and I got to clipping it together because there's a lot that goes in. I remove all of the time gaps. I mute phone numbers and addresses and things like that. Hi, Patty P. And so I was doing all that last night, and then I came across a couple of things that I didn't even know we had. Hi, Ardo. Oh no. I didn't set any time. I literally just popped on. I didn't put any time. I'm sorry, but hi. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so I am going to quick grab my clips that I came across. And then so I was working on it was glorious. I had just the most amazing idea and nobody can tell me any different. And I completely threw it out. I just abandoned it to go with these because these are really cool.
Versus Kenneth Sampson, 38, number 38, clerk's number 23-639 My file shows, there's $2,500 bond on one case. The next page has $5,000 bond. So DUI, resisting an officer without violence, and a battery. So Mr. Sampson, you posted a bond of $7,500. You went to a bondsman?
Yes.
You paid a bondsman $750?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you employed?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
HVAC.
And you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, every 2 weeks? Weekly? What's your weekly income before taxes?
1080.
Okay. $1,080 before taxes?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other income besides that?
Miscellaneous, yes.
Okay. Mr. McDaniel?
About twice the amount.
The current is $11.50 an hour. Yeah, Mr. Sampson, you're not going to qualify for the public defender's office. You might if you have several minor dependents. Do you have any minor dependents?
No, sir.
Any children at all?
No, sir.
I advised him of the offer. He may want to plead, but I think he was in contact with Curry Atkinson about hiring him. So I don't know if he wants to plead or
I
not.
think it's more complicated because I was advised this morning by FHP that it's going to be taken into custody for alleged new offenses. So Sergeant Barge or Trooper Barge is in the back. You need to see her, but I was advised this morning that they have, I don't believe it's a warrant. I believe it's other offenses. They have evidence that you may have committed. You're on a bond with condition no alcohol. Is that correct?
That's correct.
They're also going to ask you to give a breathalyzer to see if you've been drinking or not because they receive reports of that. So if you'll see Trooper Barge, please.
Okay.
I'll see you at first appearance in the morning, Mr. Sampson. Okay.
So he shows up for first appearance or arraignment. I can't remember which one was that he showed up for, but shows up for it and gets told, go see that officer. We've got new charges for you, and you're staying with us.
So I don't even know what the new charges are, Mr. McDaniel, but we'll deal with this when we see him at first appearance tomorrow.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we have, I think that's it at the jail except Mr. Sampson. So let's see Kenneth Sampson. Mr. Sampson, good morning. Mr. Sampson, you're here for first appearance. Yours is complicated also. You had misdemeanor court yesterday on a battery, a DUI, and a third charge. Ms. Bremer, help me out here.
I believe it was, I'm sorry, I had it pulled up.
Resisting without.
Resisting
violence.
without.
Thank you. And then while you were here, apparently, the Florida Highway Patrol officer felt like there was probable cause to arrest you on these 3 new charges. I've read the complaint, and there is probable cause contained in this complaint. You're accused of one count of destroying or tampering evidence. That's a felony. Leaving the scene of a crash involving injury, that's a felony. And leaving the scene of a crash involving property damage, that's a misdemeanor.
And just wait till you find out the rest of the details on the leaving the scene thing. The judge gets into it a little bit more later, but he's a garbage human.
So you now have 2 felonies and a misdemeanor. These did allegedly occur before you were on bond in the other cases, but Ms. Bremer has advised me that she has evidence that you may have violated the conditions of your bond. So we're talking about the bond in the other cases. So Mr. Sampson, I'm going to deal with the bond in the new cases. Well, actually, let me go ahead and deal with the bond revocation first, because it kind of makes the other issue moot. Ms. Bremer, you want to be heard on that?
Yes, Your Honor. If the state could ask a few questions of the victim.
And this is the victim in the battery case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so your name, ma'am? Ms. Sampson, come on up, please, because I want to make sure Mr. McDaniel can see and hear you also. So just stand right here, Ms. Sampson. And just to make sure we're clear, the case he came to arraignment on yesterday was a DUI, resisting without violence, and a battery. And you're the alleged victim in the battery case, and there was condition no contact on the bond when I first appeared him in that case. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, what I'm going to do is ask you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, Ms. Bremer's going to ask you some questions.
Ms. Sampson, since the no contact order was put in place, has the defendant attempted to contact you in any way?
He has indirectly.
Okay, can you explain what you mean by that?
He has messaged my daughter.
And what did he message your daughter?
He said, good morning. Could you ask Angel what would be a good time to come get some of my tools and other things I need from under the shed? And then yesterday, I'm in town for court. I need to come get some of my tools. I rode by and saw my ladder was gone. I'd like to get most of it before more goes missing.
Okay. Did the defendant drive by your house?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and how do you know that?
I have a video.
You have a
Well,
video?
that's
And
just
what does the
creepy.
video show?
His truck riding by my house.
Okay. And does that coincide with the time that he spoke, or that he told your daughter that he went by and saw that the ladder was missing?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Just a second, ma'am. Ms. Sampson, Mr. McDaniel may have some questions
Oh,
for you.
sorry.
Mr. McDaniel, any questions?
Guilty pleasure. It's why we're all here, Marty.
I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Let me go back to that first one. So he allegedly texted your child that you have in common, who's an adult, or,
Yes, she's an adult.
and what did that text say?
Could you ask Angel what would be a good time to come get some of my tools and other things I need from under the shed?
Who is Angel?
Me. I go by Angel. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's what he calls you as Angel.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Ms. Bremer?
Your Honor, given additional time, I believe the state will be able to prove that the defendant was also in possession of alcohol, but we do not have, after the order was imposed, but we don't have that at this time. However, the state does request that on the basis of violation of the no contact order that his bond be revoked.
What is the, you believe there's going to be some evidence that he possessed alcohol after he was on bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this other charge where he was supposed at the bar was before he was on bond, right?
Yes, Your Honor. The information that I have, if I can get my computer to work, we have an email, I believe, from Trooper Barge that shows a receipt in the defendant's vehicle with a purchase date. I'm trying to zoom in. Of September 29th, 2023. with the Beast Unleashed, which is an alcoholic beverage. And then there are also pictures of alcohol of those drinks, the Beast Unleashed in his vehicle.
Was the vehicle taken from him? How did they get the custody of the vehicle? That's what I'm asking.
Right. This is something that was submitted to Lawrence, so I haven't had
Okay.
direct contact with the trooper yet.
All right. Mr. McDaniel?
Your Honor, they're working through a tough time. He's married, they're working through a tough time. I realize that. He's got an appointment tomorrow with Carrie Atkinson, about a divorce and about, these criminal charges and whatnot. Obviously, if he's held, he's not going to be able to see his attorney. He works as an HVAC employee. I don't hear anything. It sounds to me like he was just trying to be as respectful as he could. He needed to pick up tools and stuff. He didn't, this is not anything that's out of the ordinary as far as the alcohol. I mean, I don't know if he bought it from someone else or, it seems like kind of a stretch. It almost seems like someone may be going after him at all costs to try.
Judge, they're picking on him. Come on. Yeah, he did it, but they're just picking on him. They're railroading him. Give me a break. He was told no contact. He contacted her or tried to. Nobody's picking on him. He put himself in those circumstances. I know you're trying to polish a turd, but it's still a turd.
To figure out some way to go after him. He is accused of some crimes, but he deserves a right to go hire an attorney and defend himself against these crimes. And if he's held without bond, he's not going to have any chance to speak with an attorney and, of his choice and try to respond to these charges.
Okay. I know that we've got family members of Mr. Sampson in the courtroom. Does anybody have any testimony about this issue? I'm not revoking his bond. I'm not considering revoking his bond on the alcohol. It's not enough evidence there, but I am considering revoking his bond for sending a message to his wife, which he clearly was instructed no contact with alleged victim, period. But if you know something about that, ma'am, I got to place you under oath and make sure that Mr. McDaniel can hear you. So if you know something about that, you can come on up and I'll get your name and anything you know about it. Your name, ma'am? And you're Mr. Sampson's sister?
I am.
Okay, so tell me what you know about it, please.
About
Him contacting
and
her
her.
or sending a message to their daughter to give a message to his wife, which if he did that is a violation of a court order.
Yes, sir. I don't know anything about him sending a message. What I do know is that the daughter is her daughter, not his. That is her daughter.
Okay,
They allowed him to come to a birthday party or allowed him to come to a birthday party for a grandchild, and which opened, this was after the fact of what happened. So this daughter allowed Kenneth to come to a birthday party. So him sending her a message, I don't know what the deal was or if the message was sent, but it's like they would allow him to do stuff and then use it against him is what I feel like.
First off, we all care so much about your feelings. But let me get this straight. So what you're trying to tell the judge is that him trying to send her text messages was not the first time that he violated that do not contact order. So he had gone to a birthday party and was physically in the presence of the victim. And she didn't turn him in for that. I understand, but it was still a violation. And you're now telling the judge, as if to garner some kind of favor from him, that he shouldn't be held accountable because, look, judge, he violated this way and it was fine, but then he violated that way and it wasn't fine. How about you just not violate it?
You know what I'm saying? Like, so y'all want him to come to a birthday party, but then he sends a message and now we're, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't really know. I know that,
It's-
I told him, I was the judge at first appearance. I told him no contact, period, in any form.
Right,
And that includes contact to a third person. So
Right.
if he sent a message to someone saying, tell your mama anything, no
Right.
matter who he sent it to, doesn't matter what he says, tell them,
Right.
that's sending a message. So let me
Yes,
ask
sir.
this question. She's also saying there's a video of him going by the house. The house on the complaint is in the Delwood community. Where's your brother living?
he's staying in Tallahassee and my other sisters,
Okay.
our other sisters.
And this supposedly happened yesterday.
That's my understanding.
Well, he was in court yesterday morning, so if he's staying in Tallahassee, it had to be before he came to court. And Delwood is not in between Tallahassee and Mariana.
Yes, sir. And
So he would
it
have
is-
had to go, if he came from Tallahassee, he would have had to go outside of
Right.
Highway 90 corridor,
Yes, sir.
go by the home, and then come to court.
Right. Well, and it's I mean, it was their house, like they're buying, this is,
I understand that, but he has a condition, no contact with her.
yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't know, honey. It just is a really messed up situation.
Thank you, ma'am, for being here
I'm
for your brother.
sorry.
No, I appreciate you coming for your brother.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
So
All right,
he
Mr.
went out of
Sampson,
his
I'm
way
concerned.
to
You do
violate.
have a prior homicide conviction. I'm concerned about the safety of Ms. Sampson. There's no way I'm going to let you out if there's evidence you violated my court order. No contact means no contact. It's very simple. It means what it means. No contact means no contact. So at this point, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to believe you may have violated the conditions of your bond. I'm going to hold you with no bond, at least until there could be a more thorough hearing if necessary. So, Mr. McDaniel, I would ask that you and Ms. Bremer talk about this issue. If there's a reasonable explanation for him going by the home, I'd love to hear it. And I don't want to make a final decision, but at least for the time being, I'm not going to allow him out because I don't have much faith Mr. Sampson's going to follow my court order. That will also give the state time to find out more about this alcohol receipt and other violations. But Mr. Sampson, I'm concerned. You went to prison. You did about 20 years. You got out. You're in no trouble for years. And now in a period of 2 months, you have 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors pending from 2 different incidents. So something's going on in your life where it appears you're doing good, but in the last short period of time, you're on a bad track and your prior history is what it is. That certainly doesn't help you. So I'm going to set your bond in the new cases. The 2 felonies, your bond will be $10,000. The misdemeanor, your bond will be $5,000, but you have no bond in the case that you already had pending at this point based upon the under oath testimony today. And that is in case number, I don't have a case number, but it's the one you were set for yesterday. So Mr. McDaniel, the ones he was set for yesterday, I know the offer was going to be probation. And I'm not saying that's still not going to be something that's considered at a next court date, but I want to give you and the state time to look more closely at these new allegations. The newer case appears to be very strong. I don't know much at all. All I've read is the complaint in both cases. The older case may not be as strong. Who knows? Mr. McDaniel, what court date would you like him set on in the misdemeanor
Your Honor,
cases?
I'm gonna just go ahead and enter plea of not guilty on him and set him on the next jail arraignment date. I think that's October.
He came to arraignment and he was here. Do you still want him set for an arraignment date?
No, I'm gonna put him on the jail pretrial date. I'm gonna go ahead and enter
Okay,
plea of
okay.
not guilty and put him on the jail pretrial date. The next one coming up in October. Dawn,
Okay, October the 11th is this court date. So
Okay.
Ms. Bremer, I need you to do your investigation because that may or may not affect the state's offer. And I know the offer was going to be probation before the new arrest, and that may or may not change that offer.
Yes, Your
I was going to accept the offer of probation. I had looked at it and I felt like it was reasonable before I found out about all of this. This frankly concerns me. The depth at which it's alleged that he went to cover up an accident where he hit a 16-year-old child in another automobile and appears to have shown absolutely no concern whatsoever for that young person is extremely concerning to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Was more concerned about covering up and getting his truck fixed and hiding it from everyone than he was about the health and welfare of that child, according to the complaint. So, Mr.
Georgia.
Sampson, we're going to see you on that court date that Mr. McDaniel just said, and we'll go from there. Hope you have a good day, sir. Thank you all for
Garbage.
coming, all of you.
Human being. Yep.
Mr. Neesmith, come on up. Mr. Neesmith, you're coming up in case 23-450. I'll wait till Mr. McDaniel gets through talking with Mr. Sampson, and then we're going to, because I know that he probably doesn't know that you're here today, and we want to see where we stand in your case.
Yeah, I left this part in so that you guys could see how he's just trying to plead with Mr. McDaniel. And I don't know how he shows so much sympathy to
This will be fine.
those
Sir,
people.
come on up, please. This is Mr. Kennedy. Mr.
Oh,
Kennedy
wait.
got here about 30 minutes late.
Another one.
Mr. Kennedy, give me a second to get to your file.
Yes, sir.
Number 23 on the docket. Gregory Kennedy, driver license suspended, 23-655. CT, Mr. Kennedy got here at 9:27. According to the notes from the bailiff. And Mr. Kennedy, let's see where you were coming from, and got a Chipley address, and you're on bond. So, Mr. Kennedy, I'm glad to listen. Tell me why you're about 30 minutes late for court.
And the jail told me to be here by 9:30 on the 2nd, sir. So I got here before 9:30, so that's what the jail told me, sir.
Really? You don't say.
So you were thinking you were going to be 3 minutes early.
Yes, sir.
What'd you say? Yeah. That doesn't fit the notice you were given or the notice that was mailed to your bondsman. I'm looking at both of them. And actually, you were given a handwritten notice to be here at 9 a.m. that you signed for. It says 9 a.m. You live in Chipley, or that has a Tallahassee address? Where do you live?
Chipley, sir.
Where's 5? Did you live there at one time?
Yes, sir, I did, sir.
All right. You need to go with the officer. Okay. You need to go with the officer. Just a second, man. Go with the officer. Put him in the holding cell. We give him a handwritten notice that says 9 a.m. He can't show up on time. He can't. Hang on just a second, ma'am. I'm gonna get Mr. McDaniel to talk to him in the back. Okay. So you need to go with the officer. You just go on in the back. You don't have to put your hands behind your back. So, ma'am, I want him to talk to an attorney. I have no idea what the state's offer was in this case, but I know I got a problem when I put a notice in somebody's hand. I can watch a video. I can just about guarantee you there's a video of me telling him 9 a.m. They give him a written notice for 9 a.m. and he says he was told 9:30 when the written notice says 9.
The bond, we talked to him last night and he said 9:30.
Okay, I can look at the notice. There's no way. That's no way because I'm
Been out here for the long. We were sitting outside like we.
the notice to the bondsman I'm looking at right now says 9 a.m. So you're saying the bondsman's wrong
That's what I'm saying, the bondman said.
and he didn't read his own notice that he got.
You already know me, but at the same time, the bondman did say 9:30. And we've been out there since 9 o'clock. We was already here. He was
read
here at 9 o'clock. He just went up here, but it said 9:30.
Well, he was here, as in he wasn't up here.
We was here, like out there, like outside. We were just sitting outside, just waiting on 9:30 to come.
Okay, that's easy to check because we got cameras all over the courthouse. Where were you parked at?
We was out there.
Where were you parked at?
Back there, we back there in the other parking lot across the street.
Okay, the old jail parking lot? All right. So what we'll do is we get Gary to look at the video and see if you can tell what time they parked out there. About what time did y'all get here?
I'm not sure, I wasn't even like paying attention to the.
You said it was a
We were supposed to see at 9:30, so,
You said it was before 9 that you got here, right? You said you was here at 9.
yeah, like he was here, he was out there.
Okay, so there's a video of the parking lot. So we can watch where he come in the door and then we just backtrack it and watch the car he's coming from. You're saying it was there by 9 o'clock?
Like, he was there like way before 9:30 for the day.
Okay.
It was way before 9:30.
All right. So let's see if we can find the video from Mr. Kennedy coming inside and then backtrack it. So we'll watch that video.
How many times can she change her story on when they arrived or when they got to the door, or I have a feeling she's fibbing.
Video. If he was here at 9 o'clock and sitting in the parking lot, then I'm certainly going to consider that.
Because I was gonna look and see if he had his paper, because
He's got what too?
I was gonna look and see if he had his paper, because at first he thought he was supposed to be at 8 o'clock. And I was like, you can't be there at 8 o'clock because the courthouse gonna open up till 8 o'clock. That's what he told me. He's like, I'm supposed to be there at 8 o'clock. I said, there's no way you're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock because the courthouse gonna open up till 8 o'clock. So he been on, just off track anyway, because he thought he was supposed to be at 8 o'clock. I said, no way you're gonna be up there at 8 o'clock. Because the jail don't even, I'm gonna say the courthouse, they don't even get there till 8 o'clock. Everybody in the courthouse. Gonna start coming till 8 o'clock in the morning.
While we're at it, bring
So-
out the dogs.
So he was told October 2nd, and the written notice said 9 a.m. that he was given a copy of. Then they filed a copy with the clerk. Then the clerk's office sent a notice to the bondsman at Emmanuel Bell Bonds, 4435 Lafayette Street. They put a copy of it in the file, and it says 9 a.m. So if someone at the bondsman's office told you 9:30, the problem with that is for the last 40 years, arraignments have been at 9 o'clock. We don't have 9:30 court dates for arraignments. So if someone let me finish. If someone at Emmanuel Bell Bonds told you that, then you need to find out where in the world they got the information, because it's never had a 9:30 court date. I don't do it. Judge Hatcher didn't do it. It just doesn't happen.
When he said 8 o'clock, that was our reason for calling and trying to find out what day, what time it is. Because he said 8 o'clock. I said, no way you gotta be there at 8 o'clock. They get there at 8 o'clock.
So Gary, this young lady says Mr. Kennedy was in the parking lot well before 9 o'clock, what she originally said, before 9, but then she kind of changed that a little bit. So I need to see if you can find when Mr. Kennedy came to the door, and if it's possible to see whether or not, what time his car arrived. Please. So we'll come back to his case in just a little bit. Gregory Kennedy is next. Ladies in the back, are you here for a first appearance case? No. Mr. Kennedy, good morning. Mr. Kennedy, you're here. You were taken into custody. You got to court about a half hour late yesterday after getting a handwritten notice for the court date. You spent the night in jail. Mr. Kennedy, your offer originally was a 60-day jail sentence. I think that's the same offer today. But Mr. McDaniel, is there agreement, or do you want me to consider releasing him back out on that bond?
Oh,
Your Honor, we're just gonna go ahead and enter a plea, Your Honor, no contest to the charges listed. Understanding he's gonna be sentenced to 60 days in the county jail with Public Works. He'll have 4 days jail credits. The adjudicated $400 fine.
Yes. Ms. Bremer, is that agreeable with the state?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Kennedy, could you hear that agreement, sir?
yes, sir.
Mr. Kennedy, is that the plea you want to enter to resolve this charge?
Not really, but sir, but
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Yes,
Kennedy, you
sir.
don't have to take that offer now. You were late for court. You spent the night in jail. As far as I'm concerned, I will consider letting you back out on the same bond, but you would have the same rules to follow until your next court date. If you want to resolve it while you're here today, I'm gonna give you credit for the 4 days and let you move on and put this behind you. If you don't want to take this plea offer, that's okay. We're going to give you another court date and give you some instructions to make sure you show up when and where you're supposed to. So do you
Yes,
want to
sir.
resolve it today, or do you want to come back to court later?
Your Honor, we just asked to go ahead and set it on a new court date.
Mr. McDaniel, he is already, he he got here and he heard some of the arraignment stuff, but I don't know if your preference is to go ahead and appoint you and set him for a pretrial, or if your preference is to make him come back to an arraignment since he didn't get to talk to you
I
that
think-
day. What's your preference?
I think on his case, I prefer just to set it for arraignment date. That'll give him an opportunity to go fix his license. I think he just need to go pay a ticket and get it reinstated, if I recall correctly, and give him a chance to try to
What
get it fixed.
arraignment, what you want to set for November then? I'm sorry.
November 6th.
Mr. Kennedy, the jail's going to give you a notice for 9 a.m. November 6th. Mr. Kennedy, they're going to
Yes,
give you,
sir.
you're not going to get anything in the mail. They're going to put
Yes,
a notice
sir.
in your hand and you're going to sign for it before you leave. November 6th at 9 a.m. I think you've been punished for being late for court, but if you show up late again next time, I don't have a whole lot of choice but to put you there and keep you there until the case is over. So, Mr.
Yes,
Kennedy, I'm
sir.
trying to be fair here. So you're going to get out of jail this morning on the same bond you've already posted. You don't have to post another
Yes, sir.
bond. You've got to be in court November 6th. Now, your conditions of your bond are don't miss any court dates, don't drive a motor vehicle unless you have a valid license, and don't be charged with any new
Sir.
crimes. So, Mr.
Yes,
Kennedy,
sir.
can you do all that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kennedy, we're going to see you November 6th at 9 a.m. Don't be late,
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir. Thanks so much, sir.
Have a good day, sir.
All right. Yeah. So I don't think he's going to show up late and try to BS the judge again. That was so satisfying to see, though. The first guy getting called out on his nonsense, walking in for arraignment and hearing, go with that officer. And then that second guy coming in 30 minutes late and and the judge just not taking his crap. And that's the way that it should be. So I really want to thank you all for coming out and enjoying those golden little nuggets that I found when I was actually trying to put together something completely different. But I was really happy with finding those. And I do have more coming. So they had some real fun in Clayton County. I don't know if it's continuing riots or if it was just, one big riot and people are catching charges from it, but now they got news crews showing up and yeah, it's crazy. But hopefully they get everything settled down out there, but the inmates there are just unruly lately. So we'll be checking Clayton County out pretty quick here. And I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all again very soon. Much love. Thank you all for coming.